I'm a full-time professional artist, and I got to where I am today without any sort of training. I didn't go to university. Nobody helped me. And I have to admit that I didn't know what I'm doing, and I still don't really know what I'm doing. But there are a few things that I definitely know not to do, having learnt the hard way. So these are the top 4 biggest mistakes I've made in my art career. And while we do that, I'm going to paint something for you. Stick around. Time and time again, I have been left financially and emotionally devastated because I tried to release limited edition prints of my artwork and nobody bought them. So what I learned the hard way was, unless you are a major artist who already has a lot of demand for your work, or you plan on making prints a pillar of your business, i.e. wholesale or creating an online Etsy store with prints, then I would really think carefully about choosing to do prints of your work. After a number of failed print releases, I've decided to not do prints for the foreseeable future, although I still have people message me and ask me if I'm going to be making prints of certain artworks. I just know 9 times out of 10, if I make the print for the people who are asking, they are not going to be there to show up and buy the prints that they asked for. Unfortunately, I see a lot of artists who are just like me, starting out, who have a small following of really, engaged admirers of their work, and you think, well, if I make prints, people will just show up and buy them. That's what's supposed to happen, right? And unfortunately, it's just not that simple. My honest advice would be, unless you are planning on making open edition prints at an affordable price and you're going to be selling them on something like Etsy or at markets or something like that, then creating prints of your artwork, I would just think very carefully about it. I spent the best part of 10 years creating pet portrait commissions for people from all over the world, and it was a really successful business model, to be honest with you. The mistake that I made was taking on too many commissions and suffering from pretty severe burnout. As my little business grew, I ended up taking on more and more commissions, to the point where I was taking about 2 or 3 commissions a week, and it just left no time for myself. It left no time for me to create the art that I wanted to create. All I was doing was these commissions for other people, doing what other people wanted me to do. Ultimately, it led to me saying, I'm never taking commissions ever again. That's it. My commission business has closed. Now, that was very dramatic, but like I said, I made the mistake of not being able to balance these 2 things and really just overworking myself. Don't get me wrong, I think commissions are an excellent way to grow your business, to earn money as an artist, and to try new things, try things that you might not have done before. I do think it's very important to find a way to ensure that you're expressing your own creativity outside of the commissions that you're creating, whether that is you're doing your own original artwork or you're trying new styles, new things, but it's the key to sustaining a commission-based business. This might be a little bit more of a personal one, but I spent about 9 years living in Scotland, and half of that time I spent living in a very rural town in central Scotland with a population of about 5,000. Throughout this time, I found it incredibly difficult, not just as an artist or to grow my artistic business, but also just to make friends with people. I found that everyone was very different to me. I was very different to everybody else. I tried a lot of different things to meet new people, to find opportunities for my art business. None of it really worked. It's only since returning to my home here in Australia and realizing how much you really gain from being surrounded by people who are like you, or that you get along with, that are on the same or a similar journey as you, not even just as an artist, but just as people as well. So I'm not saying that you need to leave the town that you're living in and move to the other side of the world, but I am saying that finding your tribe, finding your people that really build you up, that push you, that inspire you, that is really important. Something that I have only just learned recently. If I could only give one piece of advice ever again in my whole life to anyone, it would be take the risk. I wouldn't have known that prints weren't for me if I didn't take the risk and buy them and ultimately fail. I wouldn't know that I don't like living in small rural towns in the middle of Scotland if I hadn't have tried it. I've recently been presented with an extremely exciting opportunity to attend an art fair in Sydney, and although it is very exciting, it is also very scary. The financial investment is huge. I am feeling very stressed about it, but I'm gonna take the risk because ultimately it could be worth it. It could be the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. As the old saying goes, if you don't try, you'll never know. So that's why I think the number one mistake that I could ever make is choosing not to take the risk. Now you know, I'm not perfect. I have made plenty of mistakes and far more mistakes than I've mentioned here. And I think if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. The key is to be able to learn from your mistakes. So maybe there are some mistakes that I've made that you can learn from too.